he's a Heisman and he's a Heisman winner, but he's still a kid. But I don't think it will matter if he comes out this season and he plays as good as he did last season or better. But if he blows up, I think a lot of people will look back and be like, well, what were you doing? You could have been working on your skills. You could have been in the film room watching film.
Good point. I think you're right. I think the result's going to be on the field. If he can come back, which Namath did for the most part, and back it up, and then people will be accepting of him. But the first time he has a bad game or two, look out, because they're going to be poised for him.
And I don't think there's any possible way.
Microphone, JJ.
I don't think there's any possible way he has the same year.
Yeah, that's not going to happen because they've all got a good look at him this year. But he's a heck of a player, I will say that. All right, time to take a break. Come back. We'll have Martin Finley, the Tampa Tribune, next, who catches us up on a number of things, including the Tampa Bay Rays, and we'll get his thoughts about Johnny Football or Johnny Fallop right here on Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source. Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range. We usually hide somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
Dry, itchy, scaly skin? Do you have psoriasis? Consider joining our research study. Renstar Medical Research in Ocala is conducting a research study evaluating the effectiveness of investigational combination of 2 study medications for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. You may qualify if you're between the ages of 18 and 75 and have been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis for at least 6 months. For more information, please call Renstar in Ocala at 352-629-5800. Qualified participants may receive study-related medical care and study medication. Compensation for time and travel may also be provided. To find out more information about this psoriasis study, please call Renstar Medical Research at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
As you're driving down the road, you may love your car, you may hate it. But the fact remains that you've got to keep it running to get back and forth to where you need to go. WOCA, The Source, and Sunrise Automotive are here to help with that. For a limited time, if you mention WOCA, you will receive $10 off an oil change at Sunrise Automotive. That's right, not 10%, $10 off any oil change at Sunrise Automotive. Sunrise Automotive is an ASE certified automotive repair center, so they know how to take care of your car. Located at 1800 Northwest 10th Street. All you have to do is call to schedule your oil change, 690-1993. Mention that you heard this ad on WOCA and get $10 off an oil change. It's just that easy. So now you have 10 more reasons to head down to Sunrise Automotive, 1800 Northwest 10th Street, Ocala. And don't forget to listen to Matt every Monday morning at 10 a.m. for auto repair with personal care. Right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source, your source for $10 off an oil change.
Call me crazy. Some people say insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. I think insanity is 1,000 single-sided full-color business cards for $15 or packing service for 50% off. Call me crazy. Regency Printing on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Look for the yellow signs.
season is upon us. WOCA and Sunbelt Rentals wants you to be prepared. Sunbelt Rentals has the equipment to help, like air nailers, aerial lifts, chainsaws, chippers, and stump grinders. They have light towers, skid steer loaders, and generators, just to name a few. Sometimes you might need a little help cleaning up afterwards. Sunbelt has the equipment you need, like dehumidifiers, pumps, sewer snakes, wet dry vacs, floor dryers, carpet equipment, and more. And right now is the time to get it done, with 2 special offers just for WOCA listeners. If you rent Friday after 3 p.m. and return it Monday before 9 a.m., you will only be charged for 1 day. Plus, just by mentioning WOCA, you get 25% off your rental. You heard right, not 5 or 10, but 25% off your rental just by mentioning that you heard it here on WOCA. But you better hurry, this is a limited time offer. Visit Sunbelt today on Highway 27, just half-mile east of I-75. Give them a call at 369-9101 or visit them on the web, sunbelt.com.
I don't know where I went wrong, but I can write a song. I belong with you, you belong with me, in my sweet home. I belong with you.
Welcome back to Buddy Martin's Sports Page on a Monday. Time now to go down to Tampa and talk to the esteemed columnist of the Tampa Tribune, who's probably right now wishing he was on a beach somewhere, which is probably where he was last week on vacation. Martin Finley. It's hard to get back in the groove, isn't it, Martin?
You bet it is. I'm still on that beach, but
me too.
We shall plow ahead.
Absolutely. It's tough to come back. They always have a decompression time where you can go and stay 2 more days and decompress and then come to work. And for you, it was quite – I noticed looking at some of your columns and you took a little time off. It was interesting, some interesting times for the Rays in the last week or so. And I know they dropped out of first place. They were in first place. And I think 20 games over 500 at some point in time. Are you surprised at the success of this team at this point? Because they didn't start out that great. They had all the injuries. Starting pitching came around. Now they're starting to hit the ball. What are your thoughts about the Tampa Bay Rays right now?
I can't say I'm surprised for this reason. This is a team that won 90 games last year without any hitting. No hitting at all. Mm-hmm. Somehow they still won 90 games because of the pitching. What's interesting is how this surge, how the first half of the season went. This team was actually hitting. What wasn't there was what we expected all along, which was the starting pitching. This team got a lot of hitting, often from newcomers like James Loney and Kelly Johnson. It got a bump defensively from Yunel Escobar, who, when we last saw, had almost like a slur on his eye black before a game, and it was kind of run out of Toronto, but he stabilized the defense. Luke Scott started to hit. So they were getting offense. What they weren't getting is the starting pitching. It's really easy to see why this surge has occurred. I mean, the starting pitching that we're used to with this team has kind of kicked in, and leading the way really is David Price, who was awful at the start of the season, then hurt. But there's no getting around that he's the ace, and if he goes, so does this team. And this team is going pretty strong right now. They're half game back, and they're playing a makeup game tonight against the Red Sox in Fenway. Mm-hmm. So they could be back in first place by the end of the night. But no, I can't really say I'm surprised. Maybe that I didn't think there'd be 19 games over 500 at this point. But I'm not surprised the Rays are in the thick of it. Not at all.
You mentioned Loney. You mentioned Kelly Johnson, who I think has got one of the best swings in baseball, by the way. Longoria finally getting back in the groove. And the guy I love and have liked from day one hit 2 home runs yesterday, Will Myers.
Yeah, I mean, Myers was the can't-miss kid. And, you look at, once again, I think it goes to the Rays, just the buttons they push. They got Myers. They traded James Shields and Wade Davis to Kansas City to pick up Myers because they didn't have much offense last year. And quite frankly, this team hasn't developed a lot of bats in its minor league system over the years. It's been an incredible GM Andrew Friedman. They're incredible at finding pitching in the majors, guys who maybe looked like they were used up, or developing young pitchers, but they hadn't had that in hitting. So Myers was kind of a stopgap. He was a top prospect in baseball, or rather, the player of the year last year in the minors. He's got a little swagger to him, a little cockiness. He's got a little Epi Calvin-Lelouch too. I just want to help the club kind of approach. Mm-hmm. We've yet to probably a quote from him, but the kid has that kind of aura about him. And frankly, this team is right now doing it really. Longoria, Evan Longoria's okay.
Research.
But it's like they're kind of doing it in spite of him. I mean, he's just kind of going along. Of course, his going along will wind up with 30 homers and 100 RBIs. But Myers definitely has something to him, and he has a knack. I mean, his first home run was a grand slam in Yankee Stadium, and yes, off CC Sabathia, no less. And yesterday he hit 2 home runs. They lost the game, but he still hit the 2 home runs. But gosh, talk about a guy who's kind of added some oomph to the lineup. Because I think he didn't come up at the beginning of the year. I think they anticipated maybe bringing him up if they could have gotten away with maybe keeping him down there. But the offense was starting to drag a little, and he's definitely fuel injected it.
Yeah, and he's old school. He doesn't wear gloves. I love that. No batting gloves. He goes up there barehanded and hits the ball. And he's a pretty decent defensive player. He could have caught that ball yesterday. If he did, they Rays won that game. Just barely jumped a little too early. But let's talk about the pitching. You mentioned Price. Moore didn't have a great game, but he's a heck of a player. Alex, and Archer's a fascinating guy. He can really bring his slider. Is vicious, nasty. And
he's a kid that the way the Rays work with their pitching staff is real simple. Is that they wanted someone to step up. Deep down, I'm not sure how long David Price is going to be with the Rays. This is a team. Let's face it. This is a team on a budget. Yep. And I'm not sure if David Price comes to them after this season and says, or another team wants David Price and they say, give me $15 million. I'm not sure they'll give it to him. So the Rays are always trying to look down the road. Sure. And in their mind, where once there was James Shields and David Price, they figured next there will be Matt Moore and possibly a Chris Archer. So they're always trying to stay, a couple of moves ahead when it comes to their pitching. But Archer's been fantastic, and he's a fascinating kid too. And the pitching is real strong right now. I mean, I think let's remember that Alex Cobb, who's probably their second best player, he got rocked with a liner. I mean, he might be back eventually, and they'll have to make a move then. But which I was thinking I'd give a boot to Roberto Hernandez.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He's basically nothing more than an innings eater and a 5.0 ERA guy. But I love Archer. I mean, imagine Archer. This is a team that has a lot of. I'm not saying they're flush with number 1 starters, but they got a bunch of number 2s, and in a short series in September, I like what they'll throw out there.
Yeah, their pitching's going to keep them in the postseason. These are stats that you can't deny. Archer is going to be the pitcher of the month. He's 4-0, 7.73 ERA, which, by the way, is right now the lowest ER in July by a rookie ever. And ahead of Bob Lee, Oral Hershiger, John Matlack, Rick Aguilera, etc. So he's treading on some pretty sacred ground right there. And he's a pretty cool customer, too.
Absolutely. One thing about this staff, I don't know if it's competition, silent, or otherwise, but they push each other. And that's why I think they needed Price. Mm-hmm. I mean, Moore stepped up, of course, when Price wasn't getting it done. But they kind of needed Price to set the tone again, and he has. And Moore kind of, like you said, he had a tough outing yesterday, but he's kind of on it. Hellickson was all over the place last season and early this season, kind of is on it right now. They kind of push each other, and even with the hitting they have, the surprising hitting they had, they know if they have the pitching that they're going to be in it. And quite frankly, I mean, the Rays' theory is always, they're not going to outspend anyone, but their theory has always been if we can get to the show, if we can get to the dance, the pitching could put us over the top. The AL East is an interesting division. I don't think the Yankees are really, even with Jeter back, are going to make a real play here. The Red Sox show signs of coming back, and of course the Rays, the Red Sox didn't come back to the Rays. The Rays went and caught them. But I'm not so sure if the Red Sox are, we keep waiting for them to go away, but they keep not going away.
They don't.
They've had a real good season.
Yeah, you're right. And I love Jeter leading off with a home run. That was pretty cool.
That's just
typical
Jeter being Jeter.
Yeah, it is. I guess Martin Finley, Tampa Tribune. Martin, just one more quickie from Tom Schmitz, and I got a question about Johnny Football when he gets done. All right.
Well, I love all the talk about baseball, but let's be honest. Training camp started July 24th for the Bucks, and
yes, sir.
What I I'm a Falcons fan, so I follow the South, the NFC South, pretty well. And the Bucs have one of the same problems the Falcons do. They have no up-the-field pressure from a pass rush. Matter of fact, their best pass rusher, Michael Bennett, they let go in free agency. Is Adrian Claiborne and Naquan Bowers actually going to come out this year? They have to be the two to get pressure on the quarterback, don't they?
Absolutely, because, if you look at, what is the NFL about more than you have to have a guy to throw the football, and then you get guys to go tackle the other guys throwing the football. That's all football is. You can talk about, you can bells and whistles and paint schemes and that. You throw the ball, and then you get the guy who's trying to throw the ball for them. That was the biggest weakness on the Bucs, and even with the addition of Darrelle Revis, the Bucs are kind of doing it backwards here. And I've talked to a lot of people who say, this isn't the way you do it. You don't create a pass rush by having a lockdown corner. I mean, Tony Dungy told me recently, he says, can you name my cornerbacks from when the Colts won the Super Bowl? And, of course, being the sports expert that I am, I could not. And he said, but you know Dwight Freeney, right? So you need to have those guys up front. The Bucs are putting an awful lot of stock in Claiborne's rookie season, which was very successful. He led the team in sacks as a rookie. And they're putting a heck of a lot of stock in Bowers, who came here as damaged goods. And I think part of it is because they drafted them. So they're putting a lot of stock in these two guys coming through. I'm not quite sold. Like you said, they let Bennett walk, and they let Roy Miller, and a tackle, walk for not ridiculous contract, which kind of struck me as odd. Gerald McCoy was a Pro Bowler last year, a defensive tackle. He was coming into his own, it seemed like. And now they've kind of stirred the drink when they didn't have to. So, yeah, I would say that outside of maybe, Darrelle Revis, of course, being healthy, and what has he got? And Josh Freeman, what's he going to come up with this year at quarterback? I would say that the pass rush has the most eyes on. So you're definitely right about that.
I thought of Freeman as a guy that didn't make mistakes, but I looked it up. He had 27 turnovers last year, which I guess is not real high, but 17 picks and 10 fumbles, that's a lot,
It is. Now, a lot of them were crunched into 3 games. He's just horrendous. I will say this, though, what they're relying on with Freeman, and I'm not saying there's not a coming. It's a huge year for Josh Freeman. He had a run of about 4 or 5 games last year where he looked as good as anybody in the league, truly.
He did.
Do I think he's elite, though? Hasn't been in a playoff game, hasn't won a playoff game. It's real simple.
Yeah.
And, there's some questions about, how if he's a vocal enough leader. And when people talk about you being a vocal enough leader, that means you just haven't won enough. Joe Montana was not a vocal leader. Not to compare him with that, but, when you win a lot, it doesn't matter how you are. Tony Dungy, perfect example. When he was losing, he's not loud enough. He doesn't push people enough. When he won, oh, man, that's the way to do it. You got to work with the guys. There's no right way. The bottom line is it's a win-win league, bottom line league, zero sum. And Freeman hasn't won enough. And quite frankly, going back to that, the pass rush hasn't pass rush.
Speaking of quarterbacks doing it right, doing it wrong, Johnny Manziel has had quite a weekend.
No, he's just.
Is he out of control? They're going to a Texas party, or wearing a Tebow shirt, texting.
I almost appreciate just the madness of it all, and like anyone else, after all of this jungle madness, and Bacchus and Caligula in off season, I just can't wait until Alabama runs onto the field to play him. I think that's the great get-up morning to see, did this guy put the work in?
I agree.
It doesn't sound like he did.
Yeah, but you know what?
He's going to have an early final exam, and I would say it's going to be in College Station when the Tide runs out there.
Exactly. And by the way, you're not as old as I am, but you do remember Joe Namath. He reminds me a lot of a Namath in that regard. He's going against the grain.
Namath was crazy and nutty and all of that stuff, but the guy actually put a lot of work in when he worked.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the question with Manziel.
Yeah.
The proof is in what he's going to put out there. He's acting like a bit of a goofus, though. He looks like a clown right now. From trying to explain the whole Manning quarterback camp, and A.J. McCarron couldn't wake him with that. He stood over with a railroad lantern and waved it in his eyes. Couldn't wait. It just has.
Oh boy. It's Twitter heaven, isn't it?
Weekend at Bernie's from the college football. This is the defending. He ain't no Tim Tebow.
That's for sure. Always good to talk to Martin Finley of the Tampa Tribune. Martin, have a great week, and we'll talk to you again sometime down the road.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Martin Finley, Tampa Tribune. Take a break. Coming back on the other side, we're going to take from our friend Mark Long. What happened in camp today out there, Tom, today?
In Jacksonville camp?
Yeah.
I knew it happened in Eagles camp.
Okay, Eagles camp.
With Jeremy
nothing.
Macklin.
Oh, nothing in the. I thought something happened in Jacksonville. Okay,
Jeremy Macklin with the Eagles.
Yeah, Macklin said. Okay, all right. We'll take. Well, I thought someone got injured. I stand corrected. We'll find out what's happening with him after this timeout on Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of Kinetic Motion Fitness here in Ocala, Florida. A lot of you have experienced our great classes in personal and small group training, but did you know we now offer dynamic workouts on DVD? These high-quality, locally produced, effective DVD workouts can go where you go. Going on vacation? No problem. We can go with you. Friends and relatives out of town who are jealous that you get to come to KMF? No problem. We ship anywhere in the United States for free. Our great lineup of 4 DVDs includes Kinetic Achieve, Kinetic Couples, Kinetic Core, and Kinetic Campus. 4 great workouts for the entire family on DVD. Sound interesting? Check them out on our website at kmfocala.com. While you're there, check out our class schedule and come see us. We're only 5 minutes from downtown across from the Skylark Plaza. Visit kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. KMF will get you results at our studio or at home with one of our DVDs. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are. Visit kmfocala.com for more information.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Dr. Rhonda L. Randall. She's coming out to speak to us about the United States of Aging 2013 survey results on aging preparedness for connectivity, health, community support, and financial security.
Open for debate, where both sides of one issue will be debated.
Carol Ann Baldwin will be in the studio answering your questions about your lawns and your gardens on her show, You've Got a Garden.
Darren W. Johnson is a producer of sporting events for NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, and CNBC. He's going to be speaking about his book, Going Live, Insider Secrets to Corporate Event Production.
And then Damage Control with your host, Joe Reichel. Joe will be telling you what he does when he gets that call from that frantic female with a flood.
Carla Sondheim is an artist and an illustrator. She's written a book called The Art of Silliness, a creativity book for everyone. Draw, doodle, and play for 10 minutes a day.
All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Howdy, folks. RL here to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great new meal. Dairy Queen's now serving 3 different $5 meals. Hot dogs with chili, cheese, slaw, whatever. Quarter pound with cheese loaded up any way you like it. Solid filet chicken tenders. And each meal comes with fries, a drink, and a sundae for only $5. You got that right. Nobody beats that deal. A great value and a great meal. So come on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's ocalaforsale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. Ocalaforsale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting less proofing factory surcharge or delivery fee. See website for details.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Oh, it's what you do to me. Oh, it's what you do to me.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports page, waiting to get in touch with Mark Long of the Associated Press. Buddy, the reason you thought Jacksonville had an injury is I said Jeremy Macklin, and you immediately thought Missouri and Blaine Gabbert and Jacksonville. So that's where the mix-up came from.
Gabbert was the guy I was thinking about at the time. And Mark Long, who wrote about it, will find out how bad the injury is. And Austin's right. Chad Henne is a backup there in Jacksonville. A lot of people think he might be the quarterback. Gabbert's just a guy that hasn't got it done. I mean, how long do you live with the number one? Let's ask a guy who covers the team, Tom.
Okay, now we're joined by Mark Long of the Associated Press. Mark Long, Tom Schmitz here, along with Buddy Martin. How are you today?
Hey, guys. Good. How are you?
I'm reading an article by some guy with the Associated Press that says that Blaine Gabbert is nicked up again.
Yeah, no surprise there since he's been injured all 3 seasons here with the Jags. But today was a unique one. He got stepped on by his own man, a little friendly fire there with guard Uche Nwere. Stepped on him in a pass rush in an 11-on-11 drill, trying to get to a stunting defensive end there, and stepped on Blaine Gabbert's right ankle pretty good and turned it. So he's hurting for now, but they expect him to be fine. They looked at it and it just looks like a sprained ankle, so they think he'll be fine, and we'll get back in the saddle later this week.
Hey, Mark, Buddy Martin, how you doing?
Hey, good, buddy. How are you?
A lot of people think maybe he won't be the quarterback anyway. What's the talk about Chad Henne and the fact that Gabbert's had his opportunities and hasn't produced? What's the word up there?
Well, you're right, buddy. There are some people who would just assume see Chad Henne take the helm here and see Blaine Gabbert kick to the curb after 2 years of complete inconsistency. Gabbert's 5-19 as a starter, and many people would say, you look at that and you would think that if he really was a franchise quarterback, he would have done something over those 24 starts, and he really hasn't. But the defenders of Blaine Gabbert and even the guys in this building, they look at it as, look, the guy got thrown in as a rookie because the team cut David Garrard 5 days before the season opener. He got thrown in as a rookie without an off season because of the NFL lockout in 2011, and he played with maybe arguably one of the worst receiving corps in the league, maybe in recent memory that year. And then 2012, last year, not only did he play behind a pretty pathetic offensive line, Maurice Jones-Drew goes down in week 6, the team's best offensive player. He had a makeshift offensive line, and then he had basically 2 rookies playing receiver in Cecil Shorts and Justin Blackman. So the Jags look at all that, and they take that all into consideration, and they go, you know what, let's just see what Blaine Gabbert does this year with a little bit, with a healthy Maurice Jones-Drew, a little bit older receiving core, and now an offensive line that's been beefed up with the return of a couple of guards and first-round pick, 2nd overall, Luke Jokel, big offensive tackle out of Texas A&M playing, helping solidify that line. So, they're really going to look at Blaine Gabbert at least early this year and see what he's capable of doing when you remove all of those factors, the excuses, so to speak, out of the equation, and now see what he can do. And if it doesn't work out, big deal. They'll move on next year, and next year's a great year to go on to need a quarterback, to have to go in the draft and get a quarterback. You're looking at guys like Teddy Bridgewater. We saw what he did against the Gators in the Sugar Bowl. Johnny Manziel, A.J. McCarron. Who am I missing? The kid from Georgia. So a lot of guys who could be high. Yeah, Aaron Murray. A lot of guys who could be high draft picks there in next year. Could be a good class.
It's a good class. Just for a quick question, I want to ask you about Hernandez. Shahid Khan, he bought the Fulham Football Club. There's a lot of rumors now about it again. Well, he wants to have the first NFL team in Europe. Is that total fantasy that he could move the Jags to London, say, and play a schedule? I mean, it sounds so ridiculous, but you never know what to believe anymore.
Well, right now it's fantasy. There's no way logistically that it's going to work. It's just not. I mean, guys, they go over there right now, and every team that plays over there, they come back and they get a week off. That's just kind of how it works. It's kind of a long flight. It's taxing on the body with the time change, this, that, and the other. And here's the bottom line is nobody wants to go play over there. These guys, most of them, born and raised in the South, Texas, California, Florida, they're not going to want to up and just move to London for 6 or 8 months out of the year. It's just not what they want to do. So there's a lot of logistics that would have to be worked out. And not to mention the Jags have a pretty ironclad lease here in Jacksonville. So, really it would be a situation where the Jags would have to buy out of this lease, and the NFL would have to, really want a team there. And I think more realistically, buddy, is I see the Jags becoming a team that maybe plays, 2, 3, maybe even 4 games over in London a year, and they call London and Jacksonville home, and they just go, what, Jacksonville's not going to support us fully, so let's go internationally, and that will supplement basically, the lost income and whatnot.
Well, he's a smart businessman, and he already has said he'll play over there every year. So let's get 1 minute worth of Aaron Hernandez. They're removing the bricks now. Have moved up in Gainesville. It gets worse. They're dredging a lake now trying to find the gun. Could it get any worse? And, it just, no matter what you say, it does smear the reputation of University of Florida, and there's an image there to obviously be upheld. But where do you come off on that in terms of how bad has Hernandez hurt the Florida football program?
Well, it's bad, and it's going to get worse here, buddy, before it gets any better. Not only do you got to go through his trial, and, there's a chance here that he could be found guilty of murder, so that would make it worse. But I think there's reports out right now, today, as we speak, in the last hour, about there being multiple shootings that they're now investigating in Florida. Some of them in 2007 is what I've been seeing and hearing.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you're saying this thing might be, way worse than we think. I go back to Jerry Sandusky, and you and I talked about Jerry Sandusky way back when. At first sight, it looked really bad. And then it got a lot worse as, people started coming out and information, you start learning more and more and more. I see this as the same thing in terms of, it looks bad now, and it's already getting worse than what we first thought, and it's going to get worse. I just don't see this thing getting any better before it gets a lot worse. And, as it turns out, it's starting to look like this guy is some sort of serial
killer. That's
shooter.
the problem. Yeah, that's the problem.
And had some serious gun issues, some serious anger control, emotional control issues. I don't know where it went wrong, but it really, maybe I'd love to be wrong about this, but he's starting to look like he's not only is he a bad guy now, but he's been a bad guy for a number of years, and people knew it and covered it up.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. As always, Mark, it's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much. We'll talk Gator football next time.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
Mark
guys.
Long, Associated Press. Take a break, come back. Franz Beer joins us next. We'll get his take on a couple of things, including the word about the former Auburn running back who may be surfacing in, of all places, Louisville. Coming up next right here on Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
July is the busiest vacation month of the year, so it's the slowest month in the car business. Our dealership is empty, and it's bumming me out.
This is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. Here's my plan to have a no-bummer summer. Trade in your bummer of a clunker today, and I'll give you top dollar for your trade-in.
Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Get top dollar for your old car today.
Are you bummed out over bad credit? Don't be! Our For the People credit approval process wants to turn your frown upside down and help you get approved for a nicer, newer car.
Don't waste your summer in a car that's a bummer.
Kick your old car to the curb once and for all and get top dollar for your trade-in, regardless of the age, mileage, or condition.
Hurry! This deal ends when we've helped 47 people get a nicer, newer ride.
I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit us at Prestige Auto Sales, online at prestigeforyou.com,
or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige!
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
Hi, I'm Bianca. I'm Debbie. And I'm Lupe. And we would like to invite you to come visit our Merle Norman salon.
Come check out our Merle Norman's award-winning makeup.
Come experience our hair color, highlights, lowlights, perms, and organic keratin treatments.
Oh yes, I just had one done on my hair, and they are amazing.
That's because it eliminates frizz, reducing the amount of products and time spent on your hair.
Normally, if I skip styling products, my hair's a mess. But after this treatment, my hair's awesome. Merle Norman Studio is a full-service salon. We offer everything from massages to eyelash extensions. And don't forget to ask about our free makeovers.
We would love to meet you, so call us today at 352-368-5008. Or stop in and say hi. We're located at 1012 East Silver Springs Boulevard, just a few blocks east of the downtown square.
Merle Norman Cosmetics Studio and Salon.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my
too.
seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Just a real quick follow-up on the report that Mark Long spoke to, Buddy, about Aaron Hernandez possibly being looking into more than one shooting in Florida that goes all the way back to his more charges could be filed against Hernandez, according to this article written by Will Brinson, an NFL writer for CBS.com. He's quoting George Coley of NBC Connecticut that says that more charges could be filed against Hernandez stemming from shootings in Florida. The Gainesville Police Department thought so much of this report that they wanted to put out on Twitter. Aaron Hernandez rumor control. Reports of any new charges are not from the Gainesville Police Department. We have previously released any and all records we have on Mr. Hernandez. So it's quick to get out there, but so let's go to the guy in Gainesville, Franz Beard. Maybe he has a little more insight.
Hello, Francis.
Hello, buddy. I hope the beach was nice to you.
Beach was great to me. Just too short. Well, getting back in the way of business here, it looks like the same old stuff with Hernandez, and they're dredging the lake, as you know, now in Bristol, looking for the weapon. And there's also this report Tom talked about with the possible another execution-style murder or something. So it just seems like it gets worse and worse. But it's
well, the thing about it is that there's a lot of he's going to be tied to just about any unsolved murder. I mean, you can just about count on that because of the way that things went down in Boston, and the rumors that were there and so forth like that. I know for one thing that the Pouncey twins say that when they were there, that they are unaware of anything like that happening. Yep. And I talk, and I know that for a fact that they have no clue.
Yeah, I saw where I guess his Marquise refused to apologize for his Free Hernandez hat he had on. So let's switch topics a second. Remember Michael Dyer?
Yes, I do. MVP of the national championship game, Auburn over Oregon.
Pretty fair country running back, I'd say. Well,
yes,
guess
got,
what? He
got it up to his wazoo in troubles and has bounced around a bunch of places.
He went to Arkansas State and then didn't last long there. Arkansas Baptist. I don't know where he is now, but guess what he's looking at? Louisville.
Louisville, probably.
Yeah, Louisville. Louisville says they said apparently the registrar office has him in a database, but not admitted yet. So, and one of the people that Teddy Bridgewater said he saw on a recent trip was in fact Michael Dyer. So he said, I'd, quote unquote, take him in a heartbeat. That would make Louisville a pretty strong candidate to be up there playing for the Crystal. Although, do they play for Crystal anymore? Yeah, I guess one more year up to play for Crystal. So that would really, Charlie Strong team would be already going to be on the radar, but that would sort of make him a contender, wouldn't it?
Louisville will be favored in all 12 of their games this year. If they got him, they might be favored in just about any game that's not played against Alabama, LSU, Florida, or South Carolina.
Will Muschamp got a raise. That's not unexpected. Got a $250,000 raise. This is the year where I think he has to move forward. Talked to a friend of ours over the weekend, Norm Carlson, really high on this team defensively. Thinks they're really good, and I'm hearing lots of praise for Driscoll and the summer workouts. What have you heard?
I've heard that Jeff has really stepped it up as a leader, that he's been the vocal guy that they wanted him to be. I understand that all the time in the film room with Brent Pease and the encouragement he's gotten from Brent and from Muschamp, who basically told him, hey, it's your team. You got to be the guy now. And I understand, when he was a freshman, it was John Brantley's team. And last year, it really wasn't his team until after the season began. And I think it's hard to step into that role once the season is already underway. I think that this is a better situation for him now. And again, it's going to come down to this. Can he get rid of the old habit of feeling he's got to do it all himself? If he can spread the ball around and he can share the ball and not feel that he's got to make a play, that he can let other people make them too, then Florida's going to be all right offensively.
Well, do you agree with me that we've got 15 seconds, that this is the year he has to really bring him up a notch to be able to prove he's the guy, he's the leader they need in Gainesville?
Oh, he's got to, because this kid they're bringing in, Will Greer, is the real deal. Will Greer is going to push everybody next year when he gets here.
All right, friends, take it easy. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Yes, indeedy.
France Baird. All right, presented by Country Club Ocala. Get a report. Meanwhile, I want to thank our guest today. As you heard France Beard, Mark